Tim Wu, the Columbia professor and writer of the book The Master Switch, once said that all mass media at one point was free and open and creative and anybody could use it. And at some point or another, the master switch was pulled and it was closed. And that was it. And from then on, it was pretty corporatized. We're basically seeing that now with web television. And the video you just saw is the Bed Intruder song. And that is a song made by the Gregory brothers, who and one of the wives, who put together a video to auto-tune a basic news report. They come from a background of auto-tuning the news, and there's a lot of other clips where you could auto-tune. They've auto-tuned just basic news reports, and it's pretty exciting, but it brings some panache and some style to basic things. And that was one of the very earliest ways of remix culture, that you would have just news, but you would have an interesting character, like a beta person that's you, like anybody, who can just become somebody of a star, like Antoine Dotson. I mean, he was just a dude in the South, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, people find this news report, remix it, and now he's famous. And it's one of those things where out of nowhere, these things happen. The company that makes Auto-Tune the News is called Next New Networks, or was called Next New Networks. And here's where Tim Wu's point comes in, is that Next New Networks, who also did Barely Political, you may remember them from the Obama Girl, they are a company that was run out of New York that was doing YouTube better than YouTube was doing YouTube. And because of that, Google bought them. Google bought Next New Networks and created Next Labs, and they are the experimental wing of YouTube, creating very cool and very forward-thinking ideas of how YouTube can work. The reason I'm starting here in this lecture in YouTube is because the future of TV depends heavily on how the success of YouTube is and how the success of remix culture works. This is still slightly open, but it's open enough that experimentation could take place that could define how television becomes. And so let's go through a few steps of what happened. Is that there is the Bed Intruder song, which you just saw. How that crossed over to a corporate zone is this. Not only was that news report remixed and made into a song, but the song itself was made into an MP3, which became #1 on Billboard. It's the first viral song to become a #1 Billboard hit. That's crazy. I mean, if you think about it, that was downloaded thousands of times by people who just wanted to listen to it, out of connection to what the video is. They just thought it had a good beat, so that's pure talent. Anyway, in this post-strike era, this post-writer strike era, we have two very prominent pieces of experimental television. One, well, let's just call them emergent media for the sake of it, speaking about it. One is reality TV. And in reality television, that is writerless, producer-based television based on you, the beta person, which could be anybody. It could be a guy calling for ducks. It could be a tattoo artist. It could be a family who has Little Miss Sunshine and a little thing. It could be any type of show, and it could be any person at any time becomes the next reality star, so to speak. After I worked on a reality show, and I'll tell you that they're just people. But it's amazing to think about how we bend just people, and we cast them like they're characters in order to have them tell a story that we've written. As I've told you before, most reality is pre-written, it's pre-built, it's just cast for the part. And so those beta characters are molded by producers who know it. Alongside of the post-strike reality TV area is the idea of web-branded entertainment. Entertainment made for the sake of selling a product. And so, for example, there's tons of television on the web that's made specifically for a brand to sell a product, but through it. So it's almost like you're watching a commercial. For example, there's a show called Easy to Assemble on My Damn Channel, which at one point got the award for Best Integrated Product. I mean, how could it be the best integrated product? The whole show takes place at IKEA. Of course it's Best Integrated Product. I mean, it takes place at the place the location is. But it's brilliant because it's characteristically amazing that these actors played this role so well that it almost seems as if this is a web show. It makes these major actors become very meta and very uncharacteristically beta. And it's very funny that you could see that and then it becomes that type of TV show. But again, when we look at traditional media, how different is that exactly from a show like The Apprentice? Aren't you just watching a 44-minute commercial in The Apprentice? Each episode is branded. that's what's amazing about television, is we've always had some sort of product placement and some product orientation towards it that allowed you to see products within the show. So web TV is just a great outlet for corporations to figure that out. But now let's think about the idea that YouTube itself, YouTube and the characters on YouTube, the vloggers, the beta people, the meta characters, they are what will define the people of the web.